going on? We are live. Just wanted to get everything prepared. So I got my little laptop. We'll get it out of frame. So obviously, as a buyer, you want to know what's up and coming, what's not up and coming, what is actually the hot area, and obviously based on metrics, I've been stressing that. You know, everything is predictable. If you just look at first residential goes in, then commercial comes in, retail, and everything else. So in other words, if you look at, say, the 90s, West 90s, you know, and you look at that 15 years ago, as you look at it today, everyone started moving north. In other words, the 70s got too expensive, they started moving to the 80s. Then the 80s got too expensive, they started moving to the 90s. And the reason I could say that is that we've had probably 10 closings in this 20 block radius. And every single time we put an open house or we put a home on the market, our open houses are slammed. You know, so first of all, the west side is very, very hot right now, okay? Especially the upper west side. If you obviously consider West Village, Soho, Tribeca, you know, those kind of three areas, they're always going to be hot because they've limited inventory. They're not really adding a lot of buildings to the area. On top of that is anything that comes on the market, you have high demand for. It's very expensive, so you kind of have the top tier echelon. But if you want to stay in the city and you want to get something that's affordable, and obviously I put that in quotes because throughout the rest of the country, affordable, New York City, you know, may not pan out. But if you want to get something affordable, you want to go to the Upper East Side or the Upper West Side. The Upper West Side is obviously a little bit more expensive. But we're going to be talking about, and I have facts and figures and everything pulled up right here. And this is Curbed. So Curbed is Curbed.com is a residential online publication. And they've actually pinpointed West Harlem. It was something that I used every single time that I went into an open house or on a listing. And I said, listen, this is something that we can use. You know, we're going to put another home on, you know, the West 90s. It's a 2-bed. We're probably going to price it between 1.4, 1.5, 1.4 and 1.5 million. Then we're talking to a 1-bedroom as well. That's going to be less expensive, but they're both right around that area. In other words, there's a decent amount of inventory that's coming on. The Upper East Side has a lot more inventory coming on. The Upper West Side, not as much. However, here are the facts and figures. So West Harlem topped the list, and you went Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, and they used the Bronx. I don't think they went to Staten Island. I have no idea why. It's sort of a totally different marketplace. They have homes, traditional homes. But for whatever reason, Staten Island kind of gets like the short end of the stick on a lot of these metrics. But West Harlem, so in 2017, the median sales price increased 124%. 124%, West Harlem. And I'll talk about a couple of reasons why, and then we'll go into it. The rent was actually probably one of the highest outside of Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, which was number 9. It grew 6%. So if you look at also the amount of page views and new construction, and the amount of new construction is actually only 2, okay? Only 2 new constructions that either came online, defined as the number of addresses that obtained a permit for occupancy in 2017. And obviously, why do I say 2017? Because that kind of rolled, you know, people are already thinking about 2019, but 2017 reflects 2018. And if you're looking to buy a home and you're not looking to flip it, you know, a flip is pretty much either an estate sale, a short sale, someone that's going through, you know, hard times. You know, those are really the only where it's a total mess, it's a total disaster. It was a hoarder, and they had to clean it out. You know, I actually did an Instagram story about a home that I passed by, and I looked inside, and the movers were moving everything out, and it was a war zone. You know, so that would be a perfect flip. I have no idea what happened, but they've been living there for a couple of decades, and obviously they kept everything. So if someone, as a first-time home buyer, because it was a first-time home buyer kind of, and it was a co-op, first-time home buyer would walk in, and they may not want to do the construction. They may not want to go through the renovation. But a flipper, someone walks in, obviously that would be a perfect, as long as everything works out, the monthlies and whatnot. So West Harlem was, and obviously West Harlem, and I'm going to talk about Fort Greene, which is number 2. And obviously that's Brooklyn, that's almost 3 times the price, almost. It's probably like 2.5 times the price, median sales price. However, Fort Greene, and by the way, Fort Greene is on fire. It's crazy. Oro and the Torin, okay, both of them came online. In other words, they had the CO, Certificate of Occupancy, in 2009. And obviously at that time, getting financing was very challenging. They were offering the first-time homebuyers credit of $8,000, and no one was buying. Everyone was emotional. No one was lending. It was just a total disaster. Dodd-Frank came shortly after that. And look at this, Fort Greene, which, by the way, the median sales price, which is insane, because I was there when the Oro, I had 4 buyers that bought in 2009. 2 of them already sold. One of them sold maybe a little bit earlier, or it's up to, obviously they needed the money. Doubled her money. The next person next year doubled her money, okay? And that was only in about a 4.5-year time span. Doubling your money. Granted, no one was buying. You could get insane pricing. Closing costs were paid for by the developer. Usually the developer pushes it on the buyer. And so Fort Greene has $1,075,000. $1,075,000 is their median sales price, and it grew 67%. That's insane. The amount of new construction, again, that's the amount of addresses that have obtained a permanent certificate of occupancy I'm very familiar. Why is it are the early adopters? Kind of growth of a neighborhood. Why is West Harlem, why am I really bullish on West Harlem? First of all, Flushing and Fort Greene. Fort Greene has their inventory, or their infrastructure is just blowing out. It's crazy. They have all the train stations, they have all the bike lanes and the path, they have the parks, obviously Fort Greene Park, and then you have Prospect Park, and then you have all the restaurants that need to come in, the shops, the retail. If you go down any of those main drags, you're going to see a lot of different retail changes, to say the least. Where it goes from a cleaning, cleaners, they go to a wine bar. So talking about West Harlem, why am I bullish? So West Harlem has Columbia. It was kind of like what NYU did to Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village was great, it was fun, it was exciting, but then Greenwich Village, not going political or anything, because obviously the residents did not like it, but they started buying up land, they started, increasing everything. So what did that do? First of all, their tuition is probably $80,000, $90,000. I put in a renter in about 2 years ago, and she was paying $73,000 a year. And I'm not saying everyone pays $73,000. That's just tuition and housing, okay? That's not the books and food and lifestyle and transportation. It's insane, okay? Columbia is right up there, and Columbia is right there. Their medical is just exploding. The amount of real estate that they're absorbing in that area, because they understand that is the next area. If you go on the west side, west of Columbia, beautiful. The bike lane, which I took this morning, goes right up to the GWB. You could take it over to New Jersey. My light just went out, and one of the biggest things that I've noticed is that people that came to a lot of our open houses were either professors, students, or people that wanted to invest in the area, knowing that Columbia was buying a lot of real estate. Okay, so if you want to be an early adopter, would have probably been about 2013, 2011 in West Harlem. But if you want to become that person that's up and coming, then you want to buy now. Okay, specifically probably in this winter, or maybe next summer, this winter or next summer, okay? And obviously we could help you out on that. And if you're an investor, that's a totally different mindset, because an investor, it's all about low monthlies and easy renting ability. Obviously you're looking at condos. If you're a first-time home buyer, or you're looking to upgrade and get a bigger space, obviously that's a totally different mindset. I look at that as a 5 to 6 year horizon, because that's on average. People usually move in New York City as when you buy. When you rent, it's obviously less, it's 2 to 3 years. But when you buy, it's 5 to 6 years in New York City. It's actually 5 to 7 years, but I'm not really seeing a lot of people stay in their homes for 7 years anymore. Obviously, maybe if you live down in the suburbs and you're moving back, that's a little bit different, but I'm talking about people that go from a studio to a 1 bedroom, 2 to a 3, or to a 2.5 bedroom. So highly recommend West Harlem. Fort Greene, I don't know. I think that gentrified a little too much. Flushing is also up and coming. There's a lot of developments going on in Flushing. Flushing, look at this number, 35 new constructions, okay? I'm not as bullish, and the median sales price obviously reflects that what was there, which is existing inventory. as opposed to what is coming available, which is new construction. New construction is obviously almost 50 to 100% more expensive than existing homes, townhouses, walk-ups, elevator buildings, traditional buildings that were already in Flushing, because the new developments in Flushing are gorgeous. We did 3 closings, 3 buyer closings. Actually, we did a sale closing as well. They're top of the line. When you go out there, the amenities are nice. They have the space, they have the views, they have the transportation. So highly recommend you check out those 3 areas. If you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Obviously, we are going live. Our content is going to be getting better because before it's kind of like, what are my thoughts? But now we're going to go down to the metrics. And that's what people want. Okay, Charles, that's great. I'm glad you feel and whatever, but what are the numbers? Okay, give me the numbers. So, and then I'll just move on to Elmhurst because that's where my mom would probably kill me if I didn't talk about year-over-year growth of 40%. Elmhurst is probably one of those, it's kind of one of those budding areas. It's a burgeoning area. If you're looking to invest long-term, highly recommend Elmhurst, and then it goes East New York, Norwood, and then a couple other, Chinatown, I'm surprised it's even on there. Brighton Beach, Woodside, blah, 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 and the list goes on. What it's going to be going into 2019, it's going to be a totally different list. I think West Harlem's still going to be on there. Fort Greene is definitely not going to be on there. Flushing is definitely not going to be on there. And the reason being is that they've gentrified. Okay, gentrified, I mean, I feel, obviously, I don't know the numbers yet, but I feel that enough people have bought in other words, the cool factor or the area to look out for. It's kind of like Upper East, East Harlem was where all the developers went because it was too expensive to build in Williamsburg. Fort Greene, forget about it. Prospect, there's too much competition everywhere else, so they went to East Harlem. East Harlem got too expensive, so now they're going to West Harlem, but they're not giving as many permits for new construction. It is what it is because it's a little bit of a different area in regards to the homes. Obviously, there's a lot more townhouses. There's a lot more brownstones, which they want to restore and or keep. The facade, the windows, and everything else. So if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. We go live every single day. We're going to be sending out our market report. We already filmed it. We're going to be sending out. We have a magazine, BPI Lifestyle, the magazine. That's going to be a compilation of all of our articles, and we're also going to have just a ton of information. We're bringing on contributors. We're bringing on a ton of people that are just going to make your life a little bit easier. Kind of just there's just so much information out there that you need that one place, and we want to be that hub. Okay, we have 3 homes that are coming on the market. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to have property tours, photos, everything else later on. I know you guys don't really care. Maybe you do. I have no idea. That's when you leave in the comments below. Reach me personally at charles@botenstein.com, and our website, if you want to go to that, is bpi.live. So have an amazing Tuesday. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow.